Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 294 of our BU 365 day challenge. Do one thing every day that improves us in some way. We're talking about paradoxes. We got one more tomorrow, and then we're going to switch gears and focus on the SOAP framework for a few days so that we can reinforce that learning of that framework and make sure it's installed in our subconscious this year so that going forward we never have to think about things like today's paradox again. Today we're talking about the certain paradox, and it says the only certainty is that nothing is ever certain. Now, I don't know about you, but I've definitely experienced this particular paradox. I was certain I was going to be married for my entire life. Once I got married, I figured I was going to be married for my entire life, yet I am divorced. I was certain businesses and certain relationships and certain things would always work out. And it's sometimes we need to say, no, this isn't good for us. Things need to change. Maybe you were certain about your job prior to COVID-19, only to find out, like millions of other people, that your job wasn't as certain as you thought, because when your business was shut down by the government and by the pandemic, you were at home, right? And you didn't have an income. At least you didn't have your job income anymore. So there's so many things we're certain of. We're certain of relationships. We're certain of people, places, things. We're certain of our beliefs, right? Our core beliefs and our thoughts. We think that those are true and factual. Yet, I have learned to question my beliefs and question my thoughts, because sometimes what I think about something is absolutely positively wrong, or wrong for me. And it means I always have the ability to change my mind, change my thinking, change my beliefs. So I would contend that the only thing that's ever certain is us and how we choose to grow and respond and be in any given situation, because things change all the time. We know that. So my question for you today is, in our action item, is to share one thing that you're certain of right now. One thing you're absolutely positively certain of. You know, maybe it's your health. I used to be certain of my health till I had a sudden cardiac arrest and dropped dead. And I wasn't certain about my health anymore. And I probably knew subconsciously that I wasn't doing very well health-wise before that event, but that event was definitely a wake-up call to say, maybe you better start taking better physical care of yourself. Not just physical, but physical, mental, emotional, spiritual care of yourself, because that's impacting everything else. I was definitely a very unbalanced person back then when it comes to all the 9 different areas and aspects of our life that we talk about in this challenge. So share one thing you're certain of, and then what happens if that changes? Now here's my little trick. I'm going to share mine right now. I am certain that I am my best investment, and that learning and growing and becoming the best version of myself is the only thing I can actually control. I can control my response, my thinking, how I show up in the world, but I can only manage, and I'm certain that I can only manage and control myself, right? We can influence other people, we can impact other people, we can try to lead and set the example for them, but the truth is, I am the only one, and I am certain about this, I'm the only one that knows me, understands me, and I don't even know myself that well, but I'm continuing to grow and learn and understand myself better. But my best investment is always going to be in lifelong learning, continuous improvement, and becoming a better version of myself. That I'm certain of. Now, what if that changes? I don't know how that would change. And that's what I'll be thinking about today is, what if it changes that I'm not certain? What if I lose my belief in my ability to become a better version of myself? What would happen? What would the ramifications of that be? Probably I'd curl up in a little ball and just be a vegetable or not participate in my life anymore. And I don't see that happening. So share one thing you are certain of, and then you don't have to share what would happen if that changed. Just think about what would happen if that changes or were to change. Because I think the pandemic, as awful as it's been, actually my ex-husband has COVID again now. So it's just like, it's just around and around and around. The whole thing goes. I think that we need to be more prepared than we were. I know I wasn't prepared for the pandemic, but I was certain that I would figure it out and I would keep moving forward. We need to believe in ourselves and be certain of ourselves, and then everything else will fall into place. That is my belief. I'm certain of that. Anyway, love this particular paradox because it's so true. And tomorrow's is too. Tomorrow will be our last paradox, and then we'll shift gears into the SOAP framework. But these last two, I would say, are probably my favorite because I find them to be so true in my life, and some of the lessons I've learned from them have been very, very painful, and others have been awesome. But when I accept that they're true and I act as if and live my life as if it's just the way it is, it's like accepting the weather. I laugh now at myself, and when I used to get upset about the weather or about traffic. I used to get upset about traffic. I used to spend a lot of time driving to and from my jobs in corporate America, and there's a lot of traffic in the Minneapolis area, right? And I lived in Wisconsin and commuted to Minneapolis and Minnesota and different areas of the state. Like I didn't live 5 miles away from where I work. I lived like 50 miles away from where I work, and 50 miles across the city. No matter what time I would go to work and come home from work, I was going to hit traffic at least once a day. I developed a strategy of I left the house at 3 o'clock so that I would miss the traffic in the morning, and then I only had to deal with it in the afternoon so I could be home for the kids. So there's always things that we can do, and that's what I'm certain of. There's always things that I can do if I open my mind to the possibility to figure things out. And the same is true for you. We just have to know and believe that it is. All right, have an awesome day. If I can help in any way, ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with our last paradox.